things. Like, for instance, if you want to bet, say, you like Daniel Cormier and you think he's going to finish the fight, so you want to bet Daniel Cormier in the under, most shops, and I'm willing to say just about all shops in Vegas, won't let you do that.
Okay.
They consider it a correlated parlay, so they will not let that occur, which I don't agree with. But once again, that's another show we could have. I mean, we can talk about that.
Yeah, and this has just started now on boxing, where I used to do it. You got 50 bets on the board for a Mayweather-McGregor. Great, I want to parlay 3 of them. We don't do that.
Yep.
Why
exactly.
not? Why not? You'll do it for everything else. You'll do it for the Super Bowl. Why won't you do it for the fight? Because we know what you're doing.
Yep.
You're going to pick the 3 best bets on there. You're going to get your odds to 5 or 10 to 1, and we're not going to give you that much of a house advantage over the house. Smart.
Exactly. These guys, as much as I give them grief, they're not stupid people, the people that are making these numbers. The guys that are sitting in the office making these decisions, there's a method to their madness. I might not always agree with it, and I might think that they, bookmakes scared, but I respect the fact that a lot of these guys go out on the limb and actually hang their own number. Guys from like the Westgate and the Win, these guys hang their own number at least, whereas some of these other guys are faking the funk, acting like they're actually hanging numbers when they're just, stealing stuff from the Greek or Pinnacle online.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. The 3, and I've always said this when I've been asked, so there are only 3 places in Vegas and everybody else looks at them. One is the South Point, one is the Westgate, and the other is Win. Those are 3 old-school guys who still do it the old-fashioned, scary way. They call each other on the phone, they set a line, and they see where it goes from there.
Yeah, the guys over at the Westgate, one of the guys that happens to be over at the Westgate right now in a management position was actually my manager at one point. And he's he's a great guy, and he's in charge of their risk and stuff with their mobile, and just a really good guy. And they have a great team over there, man. The Westgate's a great place.
Does he have an Italian last name?
No, actually he doesn't. No, but he is part Italian, though.
Unlike the man who runs the Wins, who's downright got a pinky ring.
You're right. There's no doubt about it. You walk in and he's offering you some Stanko when you come into the office.
Too funny. All right, game number 2, Clemson, VT, Vatek.
Oh, man,
Why are you on this? Why are you on this like a cheap suit? Why is this? I can already hear this is the Bobby Capucci, I'm excited about this game, bet of the week.
Yes, sir. I'm stepping out on this one. I really like this game here a lot. I like Clemson. I don't think Virginia Tech has done enough to prove that they're the number 12 team in the country. They've played a bunch of cupcakes. Clemson's going into Virginia Tech as a 7.5-point favorite. That's it, 7.5 points.
You think it's a straight blowout? Don't tease it. Don't do nothing. Just sit back and bask in it.
I'm a man that likes to hedge his bets when and if possible, so I will be teasing this as well. But I like this game straight up. I think they're going to cover the spread, and I think they win this game by 2, maybe 3 touchdowns. I don't think that Virginia Tech has the horses to keep up with these guys once they get running. Clemson has a great offense, a great defense. These guys have been there before, and they've proven their mettle this year already. They've beaten Louisville. They've beaten Auburn, 2 top 15 teams. Louisville has, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year at the helm at quarterback. This is a serious team that has national title, twinkle in their eye. And I don't think that Virginia Tech is ready to stop these guys. I don't think they're at that point in their program. I don't think they're ready to be here. That this is the highest they've been ranked since 2011, and this Clemson team's coming in rolling. And I think that people are going to be pretty pleased by the show that Clemson puts on come Saturday.
Outstanding. OU, go Sooners. The Sooner Boomers lose, taking on Iowa State.
Iowa State, Iowa State, tough school. My sister's alma mater. She graduated from Iowa State. It's going to be
it's like a fast fact. We almost need a sound effect. Ting, fast fact.
Right in. Here you go. Bang. It's. I really like Oklahoma. I think it's tough. It's a tough school. You've got a lot of good players on that school. I love the fact that they've been tested this year. Last week they were down a few points even, and they come back and show their character and win that game. Oklahoma's a tough team. I really like them a lot.
Penn State taking on the Hoosiers.
This is a good game. I mean, if anybody watched Penn State last week, You see the way that they came back and won that game, and you see what I said about Saquon Barkley last week, that he's the best player in this country, and he comes in and breaks off 358 total yards, breaking all Penn State records. You don't go into Iowa and do that. Nobody goes into Iowa and does that in the Big Ten. Not in a night game, not like that. Saquon Barkley is the best player in college football, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Out of all the players in college football that get drafted into the pros, Saquon Barkley will have the biggest impact out of any of them as long as he stays healthy. This is a generational
first-year
talent.
starter.
Oh, this guy's a generational talent. He's better than Ezekiel Elliott. All the scouts are saying it. He's a man amongst boys. He's just, I mean, if the guy last game, he hurdles over one guy, gets hit in the air while he's about 10 feet up, bounces off that guy, lands on his feet, and keeps running. We're talking about a man that has extreme power in his legs and zero fear in his heart. He runs with bad intentions, but the way he can stop on a dime, he looks like Barry Sanders, the way he stops on a dime and just and moves, but with the strength of Emmitt Smith. I've never seen anything like it in my life in a college running back or in a pro running back, besides maybe Eric Dickerson or some of the phenoms. But this guy is the whole package, and he catches the ball.
There you go. Moving on to the best Pac-12 matchup of the week. SC takes on Washington State. Number 5 taking on number 16. Both 4-0. What's the spread? USC's got to be the favorite going into this, but it's going to be tight. What's the bookie?
USC hanging at 3.5 points, 3 in the hook. So
Ooh.
I think it's a good game. And, this one gets your card started. This is a Friday night game. So you got yourself a Friday night game here. And what we could do here is, this is very nice. So you have yourself here a chance. What I like to do on Friday night games, when you find a game that you like, you can wager a 2-team parlay. So you say you like USC. You wager on USC on Friday on your ticket, and then you pick another game that you really like for Saturday, right? So say it's Wisconsin. So you like USC, that game comes in already. So what you do now is you can hedge your bet. You can go bet Northwestern and guarantee yourself some money now. So you bet the other side of Wisconsin since you have that on your parlay already. So then you make a straight bet on Northwestern. So you're hedging your bet. You're going to make a little bbit of money either way. So there's certain ways that you can guarantee yourself some money if the first leg of your parlay comes in. So, those are just, different things that as the show evolves, we'll go into more different ways to try and maximize your dollar and stretch it so that you can, get the maximum impact so you can build your bankroll and make bigger wagers and have more bets across the board. Because like I said earlier in the show that, betting strategy is very important, and it's the long game. You can't get too caught up in the losses. You might go through a rough period, but you got to make sure you're in it for the long game and you're not overextending yourself. And we'll get into that.
What's realistic if I walk into a Vegas on a Friday night and say I start with $100 and I'm playing smart and I'm in all the way till the Sunday night game? If I'm playing smart with $100, what should I be walking out of Vegas with?
I've walked into a sports book before with $25 and walked out by the end of the weekend $300, $400, $500, $600, $700. It really just depends on how greedy you get and how patient you are. There's certain things that you could look at the board and you say, man, this is pretty close, as close to a sure thing as I can get. And you can, maybe make a couple of 3 or 4 team money line parlay that, big favorites, but where $100 parlay on a 3-teamer might win you $65, but now you have $165. So you pocket your $100 that you started with, and now you have $65 of house money that you can play with and feel comfortable playing with. So it really just comes down to how much time you have, what you're really, what sort of experience you're looking for. And if you decide that this is something you want to do in the long run and grind out a living doing it, it's possible, but you have to be patient.
LasVegasDiscount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. LasVegasDiscount.net. LasVegasDiscount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit LasVegasDiscount.net.
Washington and Oregon State. The Huskies go into Oregon. We were just talking about it before. Is that too many points? Am I just laying off this? Tease it down. What's your call?
If you want to play it, that you can tease it and get it below the 3 touchdown mark, and that's it's something that's okay to play if you want to add it to your teaser and you're looking for a team that should cover the spread. But it's just some of these rivalry games. I just don't like to lay that kind of wood when there's other wagers on the board.
I agree. Number 7, Georgia taking on Tennessee, the Vols.
Yep, this is a good game here. We got ourselves a quality ball game here. I like Georgia in the game. I like what Georgia's doing this year. I like the way they're handling themselves. They have a lot of good players on that team like usual. Chubb is a great running back. I like Georgia in this game, and I like Georgia to cover in this game. Although Tennessee and Georgia, another one of these rivalry games, it's a tough game. And the hook, 7.5, it makes me want to strangle myself. I really don't like the hook, so obviously I'm teasing this one down as well.
I don't blame you. Rivalry at number 8, Michigan versus Michigan State.
Yes, Sparty and Michigan State. It's a big-time rivalry game. I mean, you got two of the best teams in Michigan at the very least going at it. Michigan State has fallen from prominence a little bit in the last few years, while Michigan has climbed out of the depths. But still, they haven't proven they can win the big game. I mean, granted, I will give them that they whipped Penn State last year when Penn State was injured. But we all see how that ended up at the end of the season. And I'm really not fully a believer in Michigan this season. I mean, I don't really like their quarterback. I talked about it last week, Wilson Spate, even though he's dinged up. I don't even know if he's playing this week. I'm really not a believer in that team. And I'll probably be laying off that wager and not going anywhere near it.
I don't blame you. TCU taking on West Va.
So here we got TCU. These guys, last week, I was all over Oklahoma State. I loved Oklahoma State. And TCU goes into Oklahoma State and just completely annihilates them. It was the most confounding thing I had seen in quite some time. Stillwater has been a very tough place for people to play. I mean, Rudolph has been throwing the ball like a madman. Oklahoma State's been putting up points like they were the greatest show on turf. And then TCU comes rolling in there in just like with business-like fashion and rolls right over them. So kudos to TCU for that victory. And if TCU plays like that again, it's going to be a long night.
Wisconsin and Northwestern.
Wisconsin. This is a good game down in Camp Randall. Wisconsin's a tough team. Another Big Ten matchup right in my wheelhouse. I like Wisconsin at the minus 15.5. It seems like a lot of points, but Wisconsin has a kind of defense that wears you down, and I believe that they'll wear Wisconsin down, and they'll end up getting that cover. They'll end up winning by about 3 touchdowns, I think, in this game.
There we go. Moving over to the NFL. It's time to discuss the things that make us the most money. It is pro football. You would think that they would be a pretty reasonable group of individuals that you think you can tell what they're going to do from week to week within the first couple of weeks. The only one you got 100% dead on accurate, you kill me you had that Chargers bet correctly. Kill me. Just kills me that you had that. And not only that, they got the extra touchdown to cover in garbage time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, brutal.
It's that game had all the hallmarks for me. Certain games jump out at me. I look at the numbers, and I'll start breaking things down. I'll look at matchups, and that game just had all the hallmarks of a game that you really want to jump out and strike at. So now that's 2 weeks in a row. We had the Raiders just plow the Jets and cover for us, and now we have the Chiefs taking care of business down in L.A. covering for us.
We're referring
so that's
to it now as the local people, the Stub.
The
Playing
Stub.
at
Okay,
the Stub.
So down at the Stub. I mean, I remember down at Qualcomm, I went down to a Jets-Chargers game. The first game that Brett Favre was a quarterback, actually, on a Monday night game. And we jump out ahead of the Chargers. Everything's looking good. My dad nudges me in the ribs with his elbow and says, we better get all those JETSs out now because it's not going to be good in a little bit. Needless to say, the Jets end up getting blown out at 47-17 or something. We get up to walk out, and everybody in the section starts singing to us, na, 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 na. Yeah. Hey, goodbye. The whole section singing to us Jet fans as we walked out. The typical Jet walk of shame, so we weren't embarrassed. We're used to it, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Let's talk about this week's game, starting on Thursday night. Divisional rivalry. Chicago, who I still haven't figured out yet, takes on Green Bay, who I still can't figure out yet. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is really here or there or he's got an arm. And I don't know if Chicago's rookies if I have any faith in them yet. What say you? What's the line look like? And am I laying off Thursday night?
We're going down here to Lambeau, the frozen tundra.